want to adjust.
Adjust as in?
As in change this, what's in them. So hold down, yep. Alright, so scroll. So that's what's currently in it. If you want to change that, like click them and it will take them out.
Okay, yeah, I saw.
Okay.
I definitely need that on the recording.
Okay, and then you just let it go.
Yep.
Arm in the way.
Okay. Alright, I'll do it again for the wireless ones.
You seeing it here?
Good.
Okay, so
No.
to reassign what's in a VCA,
Not getting the bottom.
Back it
let's
up.
see.
Let me just go.
You have to back the whole thing up, I think. No?
Okay, that's good enough.
Alright, to reassign what's in a VCA, hold down the VCA button that's here, and on the input side, they will be highlighted.
You have to hold it down at the same time?
Yeah, so you have to hold and scroll. And right now, you'll see highlighted, or I guess dark-lighted, is each input that's in there. And then, that's a double channel, so it takes that two at a time when I click that. But normally you'd click each one, and it will reassign. And then you just let it go. And now,
You gotta do music now.
and then music we gotta fix. So scroll over to the ones that I want to include and let it go.
Now, you want the colors to match what these are, right?
Yeah, so
Quick way to do that is click this paint bucket on the ones you need to change. It did it.
it did it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go, whoa, nice. I like
So
it.
now we don't have to pick up colored tapes and label makers and,
Just like I do it
and
for the
peel them and move them around
Music was
anymore.
already
And-
blue, though.
Oh, okay. And what about these guys?
They were already that blue.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that's a quick way to do that, which is
That's
nice.
pretty cool.
That's one of the kind of the things I've learned way after I was sitting here selecting them all.
Yeah, you learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. If we're not going to use these pop groups anyway, I just called them CSCC Sound Crew, just for kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the pop groups?
It's these buttons up here. We don't use them currently because VCA would do the same thing.
So you just get
more.
nice and
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you guys? We're gonna go over storing the scene and everything, but I want to make sure there's nothing else. You guys. Okay, so here's your headphone output. Your headphone jack's in the front. You can solo anything you want,
Pre-fade listen.
and that's a pre-fade listen, and that's what will go to your headphones. If this is down, you're not going to hear it. So you'd have to turn that up.
Why do they call it solo?
That's their moniker for PFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Star Wars fan designed it.
All right.
Now, okay, so we'll just go ahead and talk about the graphics briefly, even though it'd probably be a while before you get to them. If you hit the effects/graphics on here, and anything on here, if you click it once, it'll take you to the first half. You click it again, it'll take you to the second half of whatever it says. Here's your graphs. So right now you have the left, and it's actually the right that's selected. When you select something here, like if you want to make it bigger, always make sure you click somewhere on it that's not an actual button, because otherwise it's weird, but it will actually push it. So now you can go here and say, I want to turn maybe this section here down. And so, or, you know,
Those three aren't used.
so then you can turn that up or down, and that's your graphics. So basically in the analog world, you would, okay, so in the analog world, you would have like a rack of graphs, and you can go on, move each one of them, stuff like that. But now,
You know how much space that would take up, guys?
oh my goodness.
Having this for each individual sub-channel.
This
Wow.
right here, I mean, in the analog world, you'd be looking at a rack this tall and that wide, you know, for all the stuff that this has in it. And so that's why people love digital so much, because you don't have to deal with that. But if you're trying to adjust the equalizer settings for the actual outputs, this is the section. And you guys won't be getting into that probably very much at all, at least at the beginning. Rudy might feel like he needs to adjust. Maybe like earlier he was saying he felt like the high end of the speakers was just a little bit too high and too bright. Well, this is where you'd go to do it. You're on the left. You can do it here. Or an even easier way to do this without adjusting the graphic would be if you want to hit the home. Let's go over to, and let's select the, this is a quick way to select left or right. And then you can go, and they also have a parametric EQ. Nope, I lied. They don't have a parametric EQ. So that's how you would do it. I thought that would have a parametric, but it doesn't. So, can you click on that? That's another way to get to it. So if you did want to adjust high end, low end, or if you had some individual frequencies that you guys thought you needed to adjust, that's what it would be.
You could adjust it on left and right.
It's going to adjust together though.
I figured. Okay.
So,
Yes.
See, I'll just show it to you. So you have this. Oh, here you go. So you have this in your little repertoire here. Click this GEQ button. Now you're looking at your EQ. And you can go here and adjust it there as well. So whatever's selected. So for instance, if you want to go and select, let's just select, well,
Piano.
yeah, we can select piano. And then you hit GEQ. Now you're looking at the piano EQ, which is we haven't even done anything with. So that's like another quick way to get to it. And then it gives you faders and everything. It's a little easier. I don't know which would be more confusing to you guys when you're just starting out, but it's on video now. So
If I start adjusting these, will it show up here?
No.
Can I see what I'm doing?
But you can go look at it.
If we are on piano, if we click EQ, maybe we can.
Okay, so
Now you can look at it.
so
You
now
can
we're
adjust.
looking at 2005, and there it is. Okay.
And you can adjust everything and then just click flat.
Brings them all flat again.
Oh.
Cool.
Like I said, you probably won't have to do too much of that for now. But one day, everybody's going to get more comfortable and want to make a little bit more adjustments. So
Mike's thinking, I don't know about that.
I don't. The guys are intimidated by equalizing. They seem to think that they can't trust their ears as much as they really can, because they can explain what sounds wrong. They can.
It's a screw post.
well,
Yeah, I know.
here's the
It's funny
great
'cause
thing
they
about
have
this.
that
Oh,
graphic
Sonny,
in
I have.
there.
You might be able to reach this from the side.
Okay.
Um,
It's kind of funny.
Man, I keep hitting it every time I go.
so trust your
time you
ears,
start
but
talking.
also.
You need the pulpit, I'll move the pulpit.
Oh, yeah. So, here's the thing about this. This is actually one of the reasons that everybody decided to actually go through with this upgrade. This is one of the factors of it, was that even though it does seem intimidating right now, it's actually going to help you guys a lot, because you will always be able to recall a scene. So if you get, maybe you were feeling a little crazy one day, it's like, man, I really thought I could do this, and now I've messed it up. You can recall, and you're back to normal. So you're not ever gonna mess it up. And Rudy's even gonna have a backup on a USB key, so you're really not gonna mess it up.
You can get
You have to try pretty hard to mess that
If you
up.
wanted to, you can get as specific as you're on sound for those 2 weeks and you like things your way, and you can set things your way completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else can come in behind and go plug.
Right. And I would suggest not trying to be so individualized, Because if you fall out and somebody's got to take your place because you got to go to the hospital or something like that, and they don't know what you've done, then you're in trouble. So
I was talking with
try and
Sonny,
keep
so
consistent.
we could, I mean, theoretically, we could EQ all of our soloists
Yes.
so that we know, when each week we just
Oh, that'd
pull
be
that
cool.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
And do you want to show them how you saved a scene for the for the pastor's lavalier?
Okay. All right. So to do that, to save his EQ settings, let's see. If I have, I'm gonna start from the beginning. You EQ up, for instance, piano 2. And you do all the settings, all the knob turnings, and then you want to save the whole channel. You go up to this overview tab, and then you click on store preset up here at the top.
You can do it. Just do a test one or something.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do it. And then it brings up this menu, and it has some default settings. You change it on the keyboard, just so the camera picks up that there's a keyboard. Piano test, I'll call it. And you can add whatever notes, test on 11, 1, to do stuff. And then you click OK.
I'm gonna stop you right there for a second too, because if you notice, he was on the EQ, and before he saved, he clicked on overview. The reason he clicked on overview is because not only did he want to save the EQ settings, but he wanted to save the level of the piano in the monitors, and he wanted to save the compressor. He wanted to save everything about that channel. So not only did he want to save just the EQ, he wanted to save everything. If he would have stayed on the EQ and saved it, when you recalled that scene, it would only recall the EQ. And most of the time, you probably won't want or need to do just EQ. You'll probably want to do the overview.
Now, you say recall the scene. Is that, you mean the preset?
The preset, yes. Let's keep our thoughts clear here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just stored the preset by clicking this button up here in the top right and going through that little menu dialog. Now to find it again, you need to come up to Home here in the top left, click on that, and come down to Preset Manager and click on that, and then you'll see it in the name. I've got a piano test, and you can see my notes there. Now it's in this particular preset called Catawba Preset Library, but it's not saved. You can
The
see
library is not saved.
the library itself is not saved, but the preset that I just did, piano test, is there, as I understand.
Yes.
So in order to be able to bring it back, you see up here this red says not saved, and the save button is red. That means also that it's not saved. So we click Save Preset Library, and then the red stuff goes away, and now it's there every time we turn on the machine. Right?
Now,
Right now,
I
we're up
do
to
think that when you first turn on the machine, there won't be any. I don't think there will be anything here. So that's when you got to
So-
go load it.
Yeah, so to load, if turn it on after however much time and this is empty,
And you needed to recall something.
you needed some of this stuff, you would bring up load. It's right next to the save button in the top left. Load preset library is what it says when you hover over. Click on it, and there it is, and you can click OK, in which it shouldn't do anything because it says down on the bottom right, file is already loaded. So that saves the preset library, which is any EQ, whole channel, preset stuff that you want to keep. That's all of that. And then for a scene,
What'd you just click?
I just clicked home to go back to, this one says console overview. You can click it again, and it'll show you your inputs on the screen. So in console overview, you can see down here, we've got the Catawba initial settings scene highlighted yellow, which means that's the one that's recalled now. So if you want to save, the scene saves all the fader levels and everything,
Yes.
correct?
So even the EQs and everything, when you save a scene, so actually bring up the automation briefly. So right now we have the Kataba initial show file. Now a show file contains as many scenes as you want. So for instance, say you have specific settings you want for a funeral or something random like that. Well, you could save that as another scene in your main show file. You don't need more than one show file. You want to have just one show file and just have your scenes within it. But you can go ahead and show how to store, and we're going to go ahead and overwrite it still. And then after that, we'll show how to do it to a new scene.
Okay. So I am a little bit fuzzy, but it looks like the store button here is on. It's a yellow button. The
Yeah,
yellow
it's
light
on.
is on. So do I click that again?
Yes.
Okay, so you gotta click it, and then it says overwrite scene for the Kataba initial setting that we were just on, and then you click OK, and then you're done, right?
Almost.
Almost, okay. And then, okay. So that brings this scene into the show file that he was just saying. This Kataba initial.show that you can see, but the show file itself is not saved
Right.
now. And that's why it says not saved up here at the top of this screen, and the red button is there again. So you click save show, and then it saves the show with all the separate scene files.
So now let's store to a new scene.
Store to a new scene, okay. So to do that, you hit the store button again, and then I guess, let's see, what are my options here? That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want it to be the next scene,
Mm-hmm.
looks like you just click store to next scene.
I would say post training or something, so that way.
Does everybody follow the modus operandi or the philosophy as to how this is laid out? I mean, it's designed around a show, and if a show had different, okay,
Scenes.
you got all that, okay.
So post training is what I called it, and then I click OK. And now it's in the show.
Or multiple shows actually.
Yeah, and then the show itself is not saved, so I've got to click save on the show, and now the show file has two scenes, and we are on the post-training scene.
So, say you guys like had something happen and everything is just crazy. Well, you remember that you either just saved yesterday or you wanted to go back even further. Let's say we just want to go back to
Did you save it after you did all the tweet? Okay.
Yep. So this red is that's actually last. So you can go back a scene by hitting this last button. Yep. And now you're back to the previous, which is where
Call
we
that
at?
initial setting right here.
Yeah. Now say, okay, well I want to go forward. I want to go to this post-training thing we did again, because so that way you can see what's changed.
I don't think it changes these.
Yeah,
since
you're
they're
right.
Nothing.
You're right. So now you can go to next. Yep. Now, eventually you might have a few different ones, and say you don't want to just go back one or forward one, you can actually click here on the mouse and it will change to yellow. Did it change?
Oh, I don't think we changed anything.
Okay, I didn't
before.
think so. Okay, so now you hit now, and it will actually bring up the one that's in yellow. Okay? So I would recommend leaving this Kataba initial alone, because you can always save. What I like to do, because we have a digital console on Sunday mornings that I run, and we also have a lot of volunteers, a lot of new people. What I do is every month I save a new scene with that month and year, basically, but at least that month. So that way, if something happens a couple weeks from now, at least we're not going back all the way to the beginning. We're just going back a couple of weeks. So maybe less minor tweaks will have happened between then. So maybe that's something you want to implement. You know, the first Sunday of every month, let's go ahead and save a new scene.
And it remembers all the settings on the board.
And
That's gonna be.
Well, forget about it ever having that layover effect that happens after patch every year.
Yeah.
You know, the all the EQ mess ups and things that
right?
manifest themselves in burps and.
Is this patch tonight?
There's patch tonight.
He's talking.
See?
I'm sorry, I'm actually referring to a kind of a camp that takes place over the course of a full week where there's all sorts of scenes and changes,
Yep.
etc. And then we come in on a Sunday morning and it's as if I chucked a grenade in the middle of this board.
Right. Yep, and you don't ever have to worry. Even tonight, you know, you might want to be adjusting things that you wouldn't normally adjust. Go back. And what I would say is if you do know you're going to be doing that, save it before you do and just say pre or
VBS.
something. Yeah,
Before
whatever,
VBS,
yeah.
guys. That's what I meant, VBS.
So.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know, do
idea
you
to have a
any-
separate patch one because we have it every 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, and then you'll have something to go to, and you will probably have a pretty good head start for them.
Yeah,
So,
should help.
I just got to get my head out of an analog way of thinking because with digital you can clone this board infinitely.
Yeah, it's just like
what's going on?
He'll be coming in
Oh,
for practicing.
Should be in like half an hour.
Are they?
you should have it say
It's a good
4:30.
learning experience.
Are they rehearsing with mics and
Fairly
stuff?
sure.
Then?
Yeah, they're gonna
Okay. Well, what we want to do?
Because I got back from town at like 2 o'clock. I should come straight out.
Yes, because we're gonna shut it down.
Yeah. Totally.
No, I didn't want to unplug and plug the thing in.
No, but it's the connector.
I
one?
couldn't reach it. But
Okay.
it's easy.
Okay.
I think they're still working behind it though.
So I'll show them how to power it down. We'll do that connector, and then hopefully we can little.
$7,000 for a board.
So you're saved. So let's go ahead and shut it down. You have a power sequencer, but you always want to shut. Think of it as a computer. You got to shut it. You can't just unplug your computer. You got to shut it down first. Do you remember how to do that?
I can show them if you want.
Is it in a button?
No, it's like Windows. You just go upper left corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't.
Hover over the little arrow next to preferences.
Okay.
See it, guys?
Down system.
Just like shutting down PC. I think Mac is a little slightly different placement, but is that right? Mac, you shut down a little different.
Can you reach that plug?
So should I go ahead
There's
and
no
shut it
preference
down?
like that. It's,
Yes.
you click the fruit and click shut down.
Shut down entire system.
And
I didn't even realize you had to plug it.
No, you need to catch up to your board.
you really need like
And you saw which one was one.
Couple little foam pads will give it
But it doesn't
This
go
one
into
isn't one. It's what, 5? Was it? Or did I need
5
to
was
look?
common, and was it 4?
This is recording. We'll stop this.